Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I am going to do a tarot collective for today. Today is Tuesday. It is June 23rd, 2026. You may follow me on the Talk, the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever doesn't, just leave it on the table for someone else. You don't need to take on energy that wasn't meant for you. We're going to use Deck of the Undead by Hattie Thorne. You can find this at hattiethorne.com. You can also find it in her Etsy shop. I am so freaking excited. I don't know if I told you guys the other day that there was a reader, one of my favorite readers that I watch all the time. Every Saturday, she does the all signs. It takes her like 3-4 hours. And then she posts the live. Baddison Intuitive Tarot, I think. I like her. I like her a lot. A little tiny blonde thing from Boston, I think. Um, she had a Hattie Thorne deck. Okay, and I was gonna comment and I didn't comment. And then I watched, was it Virgo? I think she did it. I think she did a video for Virgo, a reading for Virgo yesterday, I think, or Sunday. And she had two Hattie Thorne decks. Two. I was like, yes, yes. Hattie Thorne is taking over the world. She probably already had a ton of Hattie Thorne decks, and I just never noticed. I don't know, but I don't know. I was so excited for Hattie Thorne. Let me just say that because I love her dearly. Such a sweetheart. We got one on the table. That's a little anticlimactic. Climactic. Three on the table, one in reverse. Did anybody read my post about the pickup lines? I don't know what that was. I had to get up really early this morning to take a shower before work. We had to be in an hour early, and I'm standing in the shower and I'm hearing like all these pickup lines, and I'm like, I seriously, I don't think I've ever heard anyone use a pickup line. No one's ever used a pickup line on me. I might have heard people like say them as a joke, you know what I mean? But never like an actual like, hey baby, you know? And I've never used one on a guy or a woman either. So I was just like, why am I hearing all these these pickup lines? And there was one that I think I made up. I think I made it because I don't remember ever hearing it. And I can't remember it. But it made me laugh because I was like, it's like the laziest pickup line ever. We got four on the table, one in reverse. Ooh. Someone's tired of something. Someone's tired of some BS. We got five on the table. One in reverse, no major. We're gonna do two more shuffles. I like how I raise my fingers, like you guys can see them down here. Mm. Okay, we're gonna do an extra shuffle because that first shuffle was like super duper fast. Six with bottom of the deck. What the? Who is this? Who is this? It's bad, but it's not bad. Does that make sense? It's not bad. It's just last shuffle. Okay, he doesn't want me to pull any more cards because when I went to grab because I always like pull as many as I can to shuffle, and I pulled like less than half the deck. I'm like, oh, okay, you want me to stop now? Like I should have stopped after the last one. Okay. We got 8 on the table with bottom of the deck. We have 1 in reverse, and we have 1 major. Bottom of the deck is Chariot. Top of the deck is 4 of Pentacles. I'm going to set these on the box. Let me show you what we got. We've got the Knight of Swords. We got the King of Swords. We got the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. 5 of Cups. We've got 9 of Pentacles. 2 of Swords. 6 of Cups. And bottom of the deck, the Magician. The Magician. So don't, feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. I said someone was tired of the BS. They are tired of the BS. Somebody is tired of doing it on their own. Somebody is tired of working, living, surviving. It's the Knight of Swords, the King of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse, and the 5 of Cups in reverse. Somebody is very capable, okay, very capable of producing for themselves. So what I mean when I say that is like somebody's capable of taking care of themselves. Somebody is capable of going to work every day, paying their bills, taking care of their kids, their pet, their spouse, whatever the case. To me, this gives the energy of like a single person, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, right? Because people that are married, people that are in relationships often feel like they're the only one doing anything. Okay. Now, that could be kind of like, not realistic. Like, hey, you're not the only one doing anything. Or it could be realistic. It could be, somebody in a relationship and they literally have to do everything for their man child, woman child, husband, wife, their kids. I mean, your kids are your kids, right? Like you have your kids, you love your kids, but I'm sure as a parent, there are plenty of times when you look at your kids and you're like, oh my god, can you not just take care of yourself for one day? Like, can you not just figure it out for yourself for one day? I remember when I was dating the ex-husband and he was living in his sister's basement with one of his nephews, his oldest nephew, I think. Her 2 boys, very nice boys. Like she raised those kids right. Let me tell you that. And she did most of the raising. She raised those kids right. The only thing that I took an issue with, and again, it's probably just because like I was raised in the 80s and I was kind of like a latchkey kid, like my mom would put us on the bus in the morning, but like I would come home and then my brother would come home and I would make sure like he had a snack, we both did our homework. Sometimes I would make dinner. Sometimes my mom would already be gone. Sometimes my dad wouldn't come home until a little bit later. So sometimes I would make everybody dinner. Sometimes he would come home and then he would make us dinner. But like at a very young age, you're basically indoctrined into like a parental figure status, even though you're just a little kid, you know? You're getting off the bus just like your little brother, but you have a key to the house, so you go to the house and you open up the house and your brother comes a half hour later and you got to take care of him like you're the mom or you're the dad. I just got used to doing that. And I think I've told you guys before, like when I was like probably like 8 or 9, my mom was working evenings, my dad was working days, but then my dad took on a part-time job working evenings with my mom where she worked full-time. So they were both gone in the evening. Like I think they had to be at the liquor store by 5. My mom managed it for a few years. I think she just started out as a cashier for a couple of years, but then she managed it for a few years before she left. And my dad was just cashier, stock guy. Um, but yeah, they would leave at 5, and I don't think they would come back until, I want to say they closed at 10, but maybe they closed at 9. I want to say they closed at 10, and I want to say they were usually home by like 10:30 at the latest. You know, because there's, like you can close one register before you close the last one, 5 minutes to, you close the one door and not the other, and people go in and out the in door. You know what I mean? Like there's ways to like make sure you're out of that store at like 10:05, 10:10, and they were just working in town like 5, maybe 10 minutes if for some reason my mom needed to stop for a pack of cigarettes. Like seriously. I mean, she can get those at work. So, but yeah, for like 5.5 hours, I would watch my brother. And it was funny because I remember at first, like we were supposed to be in bed by the time they got home. The thing is that always made me feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna like put my brother to bed, and then I'm gonna get into bed. The house is dark. There's nobody there. Like that's not creepy. Like how do I know when I fall asleep I'm gonna wake up in 3 hours in the middle of the night and there's gonna be some dude standing over me I've never seen? You know what I mean? Like, and I remember telling my parents like I don't really feel comfortable going to bed when you haven't even gotten home yet. Luckily, I want to say my dad only did it like Thursday and Friday nights, or maybe like Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. I don't know. Like it got to the point where like he was only working like when they really needed him. And I want to say it was like, like weekends. So they would just tell us to stay up late anyway. But anyway, I digress from the whole thing. Um, yeah, your kids, they're a pain, huh? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think all of us at some point feel like we've taken on too much in a relationship and we feel like we're doing everything. I felt like that with the ex-husband. And don't get me wrong, like I still say like I was doing the bulk of everything. Um but I think like I've said before that, that gets to be a point where you realize that's kind of your own fault because you enable it. Like I enabled it for so long. Whoever this is, I digressed for like 7 minutes there. Um, this is somebody that feels like they're doing it alone. This is someone that's capable of doing it alone, you know? And again, if this is a single person, it's somebody, like they get up, they go to work, they take care of their home, they pay all their own bills, maybe they have friends, they just don't have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But at the end of the day they're like, damn, I wish somebody was here to rub my feet, and I wish I had somebody to talk to, and I wish I had somebody to sleep next to at night, and I wish I had somebody to cuddle with when we watch scary movies on the sofa, you know all those kind of like nameless things that you don't necessarily have to attribute to a specific person, like those things that you miss, like you just miss coming home to another person, knowing that somebody's going to be there. You miss coming home and somebody surprised you by doing the laundry or doing the dishes or walking the dog, or taking your kid to band practice, whatever. Like, it's just those like little things. And people, it's not that we can't do it alone, but I think you get to a point in life where you realize, like, and maybe it's just me because I'm a believer. I believe in soulmates and I believe in twin flames and la 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 la, divine counterparts, all that jazz. You know, if there's a person for me out there, then where are they? And why am I doing it alone? Whoever this is, it's somebody that's like questioning. They're like, wait a minute. Like I'm doing everything by myself and I'm doing fine, but where's my person? Like, I've been out of a relationship for the last 5 years, divorced for 10, like whatever. When? Like when is this gonna happen for me? Like when am I gonna have my person? When am I gonna have that other half of me that's gonna take care of me and I'm gonna take care of them? And I've said this before with this Nine of Pentacles. this Nine of Pentacles and the Two of Swords, okay? I've said this before. I love being on my own and I love accomplishing what I'm doing, what I'm working on, what I have accomplished so far, right? I love that for me. I do. And I'm a Virgo. I'm a hermit at heart. Like I love to be alone. I love my Kim time. I would probably I'd probably go insane if I ever got with somebody that was like clingy, you know? I There comes a point where you realize, okay, if I accomplish everything that I ever want to accomplish and I still don't have like my soulmate, for example, and then I accomplish all these great things and then my soulmate comes in, what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that? Help them build themselves up or find something to work with them? Like there comes a point where when you kind of realize, like, yes, it is nice to build on your own. It is. It's amazing. It's amazing to know that you can do things on your own without the help of another person. However, there comes a point where you realize, like, I don't want to create everything by myself and then have somebody come in and, and then be and this is just hypothetical, right? But then be too tired, too fulfilled to want to create something else with someone else or help them with whatever they're working on. There comes a point when you realize, like, yes, I want to create on my own. I love to create on my own. I love to do things by myself. But it would be nice to have that other person. It would be nice, like, and I'm just going to say it, like when my book gets published, when it finally gets published, it would be nice to have a person by my side, that was there through the editing and the press and the, well, not like media, like, like the writing and all that, the publishing and all that stuff, the editor, me painting the cover. Like it would be nice to have somebody there when that all occurs, when that all happens. Because, you go for an interview, uh, and they're like, so when you were writing the book, like, how'd you go about it? What happened? And be like, oh, well, I was by myself. Oh, and when you got it published, oh, I was by myself. Oh, like, and it's not that it's a bad thing to do it on your own. It's just, I think you kind of realize, like, there are certain things that you have already accomplished. There are certain things that you will accomplish in the future that you just wish there was a person there with you. I don't think that's a horrible thing to admit. This is like somebody, And that was, well, that was the other thing that I said too when I talked about all that, like weeks, months ago, was that if if I create everything that I'm ever going to create, and then my soulmate comes in, they better be working on something. They better be creating. Because if I created my whole dynasty, my whole legacy, and that's what I'm doing, right? Like let me just give you an example. So let's say I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Are you watching, sir? Are you watching? Let's say I'm a fashion designer, okay? I start my own line. I have my own house, like fashion house, right? Like I'm moving up, you know. I end up, going to Fashion Week, and my I'm a new hit. I'm the new Stella McCartney, and blah 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 blah. And I start opening up stores and boutiques all over the world, and I'm constantly creating beautiful works of art in reference to fabrics. And then my soulmate comes in. Okay, you're not riding on my train, so what are you doing? What are you working on? Because this is mine. This is mine. So what is yours? What is yours? You see where I'm going with that? That's why, like, I like the idea of doing everything for myself and building my life by myself, but at the same time I feel a little, I don't want to say bitter, but like I'm bitchy. I don't know how to say it. Like I just feel like if somebody comes in after, and I have all of this behind me, and I'm still working on all of this, like this is my life, this is my career, and they come in and they have nothing, like next to nothing, I'm not going to be interested. First off, if you can't create for yourself, if you're not driven, if you don't have things you're doing and you're working on, then I'm not interested, because you're not going to come and get with me and ride on my coattails. That's not how that's going to work. Especially if I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that I couldn't, in 5 years be like, okay, now I'm going to do this and I'm a big hit at this, right? Everything that I've accomplished with my fashion business, that is none of theirs. Like I'm not sharing that with, I know it sounds bitchy, it sounds mean, but it's true. Like if we meet, even if I'm absolutely head over heels in love with you and you're in love with me, this is mine. This is mine. Like I just spent the last 5-10 years working on this, and you have whatever you have. Congratulations, this is mine. Hands off. Somebody's realizing, whomever this is, they're realizing that they want someone with them. They don't want to create by themselves. They don't want to continue to live in a hermited existence. Okay, but here's the thing: with the Nine of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Six of Cups, and the Magician, like somebody really needs to think about what all of that means. Because if you just listen to everything I said, there is a lot to think about. There is a lot to think about, especially if you've been single for a while. You are doing something with your life, you're career oriented. Again, maybe you do have your own business, whatever the case. Maybe you just save your money, you go on vacations, you like to travel the world, you like to see things and experience things. Like you're going to need somebody like that, but you're going to need somebody like that that can do for themselves. No deadbeats. No deadbeats allowed. I can't tell you, and I've talked about this with you guys before. I have friends, that get with the most undriven humans I've ever seen in my life. No money. They owe the baby mama. They sleep on somebody else's couch. Half the time they don't have a vehicle. Like, I just, And here's the thing, I'm 46, right? I just turned 46. A lot of my friends are 40 and up. Okay? I have a lot of friends that are older than me. Hello? Like when you're our age, you should be pretty much settled. You should be pretty much, like you know who you are, you know where what you're doing, you know where you're going, you know. And I've said this to you guys before when I was on the dating apps. Like I remember when I first got on there and I wrote my little synopsis. I was brutal. I was fucking brutal on those dating apps. I was like, you better have a job, you better have a car, you better own your own home, you better pay all your own bills because I'm not paying them for you. And I remember I put on there, you want to go Dutch? We can go Dutch, but I'm not buying your food. Like I brutal. I was brutal on there, but that's also how I feel. And that's not just how I feel like in regards to me, that's how I feel in regards to the other person. Like if I get with a person and I'm accomplished and they're accomplished and we both have our own things going on, why would I expect them, to pay for my shit all the time? Or why should they expect me to pay for their shit all the time? And these are all things that like, you would work out in, via communication and discussion in your relationship. But I'm just saying like there are benefits to being alone. There are benefits to being with another person. There are detriments. And everything needs a looky loo. Everything needs to be looked at. And I'm not at all telling people not to get into relationships. Y'all, I wish everybody was in a relationship. I wish everybody got their soulmate. I wish everybody was sublimely happy, you know? Damn, we live down here and some of us don't get to be happy. That's pretty shitty. I mean, seriously. And you also know how I feel. Like I'm pretty happy on my own. Like you make your own happiness, you make life what it is for you. But there are some people out there, it gets to them a little bit more than it gets to other people. And you have to hold space for that because we're not all the same. We're all different. All of our feelings aren't the same. We don't all have the same feelings at the same time. So everybody's different, you know? Just because I am fully comfortable being on my own to the point where I might take my vows to be a nun in September. I mean, there's not a lot of people like that. There's not a lot of people, you know. And don't get me wrong, like I was just talking about like people that get into their relationships with the people that have no direction. I mean, there's plenty of people like that. There's plenty of people that get into relationships with losers, like people that don't do anything. But there's plenty of people that are single and happily single. And there's plenty of people that are single and they want their person. There's nothing wrong with anything. You live your life how you want to live your life. All I'm saying is there's a lot to think about here because at the end of the day, you co-create your life with God if you believe. So at the end of the day, you make your life a reality. How many times have I told you guys manifestation works? And don't get me wrong, like most of my manifestations are simple. Simple. But when I tell you I manifest for them every day and every day they continue to work, like hello, you manifest however you want to manifest, okay? Let me tell you this. One of my favorite readers, um Callie Tarot. I don't know how she says that. Kelly Tarot. I don't know. She's really good. I love her to pieces. She's a little redhead, lives in Florida with her kids. I think she's in Tennessee right now, or maybe she just came back from Tennessee. She's really good. She does signs. Every once in a while, she'll do a collective. Um, she's great. She's really great. I cannot state that enough. Like I watch her without fail. Okay. If she posts, I watch it. Obviously not my sign, but she does other things too, everyone. Like she'll do moon readings and, money readings, stuff like that. She thinks that you should like manifest once, write it down, speak it into existence, say a little prayer for it, and then let it go and wait for it to happen. I don't want to get into too much specifics. And I'm sure for some people that does work, okay? I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the manifestation. I think that's something that each individual would have to try for themselves. However, I will say this. The last 2 years, I manifested every single day for something specific. I mean, there are a few days here and there where I would forget to write down my manifestations, but for the most part, every day for 2 years. And I would write down my manifestation for this specific thing every day for 2 years. When I tell you that that manifestation came true multiple times each year. And I don't want to tell you what my manifestation is. But it is revolving money related. Definitely money related, okay? And like, and this is just an example because this is not my manifestation, but let's say I say, okay, my simple manifestation is I have an extra $200 this month. When I tell you that 10 out of the 12 months I had an extra $200 from, I didn't work for it. I didn't just find it in the bank account. Like literally, like somebody sent me money. I had a rebate. I got a discount of like $200 on some. 2 years in a row, more than once, way more than once every year for those 2 years. My manifestation in regards to money came true. You manifest however you want. Don't ever let anybody tell you how to manifest. Like I said, I feel like it's individualistic. I feel like you need to manifest and see how it goes. And, maybe do it every day for like a month and then see what happens. And then if for some reason like it's not working out, maybe do it like one day and then wait a month and see what happens. And then if that doesn't work, then do it maybe, like a whole week and then not a week and then a whole week and then not a week. Like everybody's different when it comes to manifestation. And I've also said this, you guys know this, I've said this, it's intention. You have to put that intention out there that what you seek is already in you. It is a part of you. So like if you say I want a new big screen TV, you don't say I want a new big screen TV. You say I have a new big screen TV. You have to put it out there. Whomever this is, whomever this is, they can bring it in. They can bring in whatever they want. The power is in their hands. You want to be alone, be alone. You don't want to be alone, then find your person. Allow space for your person to come in. And like I said, this is something that like I would definitely weigh those pros and cons. You guys know, I've said before, like I would love to have a person. I would love to have my person. I just always feel like there's conflict in my brain about how that would play out. You can't, I mean, some of us can predict the future for some things. Unfortunately, I've never predicted the future for my love life. Never. I think God was like, yeah, you've had a wild ride. A lot of your past lives, like you had a lot of love. So maybe in this lifetime, we're going to make you a hermit. I'm digging it. I can't lie. I love being alone. I do love being alone. All right. I'm going to leave it there. I hope it resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you were entertained. I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous evening. Maybe somebody's going to use the pickup lines to get their person. I'll talk to you all later. I got to go.